So that being said, guys, I want to go through, watch a little bit of this video from none other than King Abe's, who is a awesome YouTuber in the Gears of War community, creates some really awesome content. You guys should definitely check him out if you have not already. This is about the Gears of War iceberg, is what he calls it, and he explains it in this video. I want to watch some of this and talk to you guys about it, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts about it for sure in the comment section down below or here on Twitch.
Gears of War has always held a special place in my heart, ever since I was a kid. Ever since its inception, it has been the king of third-person shooters. So in this video, we will be looking at the Gears of War iceberg that I created. For those of you who don't know, an iceberg image is a list filled with different facts, theories and trivia, from well-known and, as you dive deeper below the iceberg and water, more obscure. So I'm your host Abs, and the question is, how deep does the Gears of War iceberg go? The Coalition of Ordered Governments, also known as the COG. Colloquially shortened into the Coalition, the COG was a supranational and intergovernmental military collective originating on the planet Sera. The COG had its own armed forces, spread over all of its member nations. There were 4 branches of the armed forces: the Army, the Air Corps, the Navy, and a logistics branch known as the Engineering Corps. The entire Coalition military was commanded and supervised by the Coalition High Command. Locust Horde. The Locust Horde, often called Grubs by the Serans, were a race of mutated humans that established their own civilization in the subterranean regions of Sera, known as the Hollow. After the end of the Pendulum Wars, Queen Myrrah commanded her people to emerge on the surface of Sera to exterminate the humans, becoming known as Emergence Day, waging a 17-year-long war that was nearly successful in the extinction of the human race.
Okay, so one thing I wanted to talk about this, guys, is before we continue forward, I think what's really interesting, I love this video. I love this breakdown of what Abe's is calling the Gears of War iceberg. I love this concept, and I think it's brilliant. But one of the things is that I want to talk about, one of the things I would love to see in a Gears of War title explored more, number one, is the Pendulum Wars. I think the Pendulum Wars are super fascinating to me. When we talk about the history of Gears of War, I think Pendulum Wars would be awesome to see at some point or another in the history. And I've talked about this on the YouTube channel before, but I think it's like really important that, that's definitely something I would absolutely love to see. Number two, if you guys remember the research facility, I thought that was something that was really interesting, and I think Abe's definitely touches on this as well. I think that would be something really awesome as well.
The Crimson Omen is an emblem consisting of a red skull surrounded by a cog. It is part of the official logo of the Gears of War franchise and appears several times in gameplay throughout the series. Our boy Marcus Phoenix. So Marcus Phoenix is the face of the Gears franchise and the main protagonist, a legendary war hero who served with distinction in the Pendulum Wars and who fought bravely against the Locust Horde alongside Delta Squad and the rest of the COG. Marcus led humanity to victory over the Locust and the Lambent, but he was at a loss of what to do next after losing both his father and Dominic Santiago along the way. Epic Games. The creator of the Gears of War series was Epic Games. In 2006, Epic released the Xbox 360 and PC bestseller Gears of War and completed working on Unreal Tournament 3. On November the 7th, 2008, Epic Games released Gears of War 2, sequel to the best-selling shooter on the Xbox 360. Due to the success of Gears of War from Gears of War 1, 2 and 3, the studio were also awarded with IGN's Best Developer for Xbox 360. On January 27th, 2014, in a statement by Microsoft, it was announced that they had acquired the Gears of War franchise from Epic Games, along with the news that Black Tusk Studios would be responsible for developing new games in the series. From March 10th, 2014 onwards, Epic Games handed over all of the Gears of War assets to Black Tusk Studios. Lancer Chainsaw. The Lancer is the signature weapon of the Gears of War franchise, even more widely known than the Nasher Shotgun. But the Lancer always and has been unique due to it being produced with its notorious and distinctive chainsaw bayonet. The chainsaw consists of razor-sharp carbide-tipped blades powered by a variable torque motor.
So a couple of things here. With my story with Gears of War, I've talked about this, a lot. But when I purchased the Xbox 360, I worked an entire summer to buy the Xbox 360. So I had this summer job at this local university, and I worked really hard to get an Xbox 360. That was like my goal by the end of the summer, was to buy one. I buy the Xbox 360, and Gears of War, the original Gears, came with the 360. Knowing nothing, obviously, about Gears of War and such, I put that game in, and from that moment onwards is where my story and journey with Gears of War came in. It's been an unbelievable journey with Gears of War, and that's why I'm so excited, guys, because in less than 20 minutes, we're hopefully going to be seeing the future of our beloved franchise that we love so much. It's been a wild journey, right? There's peaks and valleys, just like with any AAA title out there. There's always going to be good things, bad things that happen. But I will tell you that I think the story is far from over. There's a lot of road left to travel with Gears of War, and I think it starts today. Whether we're talking Gears of War Collection, Gears 6, there's a lot of things that I believe are happening behind the scenes. Obviously, we're hoping, fingers crossed, that these things are going to get announced here today, but super, super excited about it. So that being said, the way Marcus chainsawed that drone, that was so Unreal Engine. And yes, I'll tell you guys, the Unreal Engine 5, like what we saw from the... when the Coalition showed us that the power of Unreal Engine 5, wow, was that was unreal, because I felt like that was definitely the beginning of what could be like our first look at Gears 6, potentially. I mean, it's hard to say for sure, but I'm unbelievably excited about that.
Mad World. The launch trailer for Gears of War in 2006 was named Mad World, with the song Mad World covered by Gary Jules. Since the song had the atmosphere of Sarah, it fit perfect for the series. The song is also featured twice in Gears of War 3, most notably when our boy Dom sacrificed his life. Rest in peace, Dom. I still miss you every day. Cliffy B. Cliff Bleszinski, also known as Cliffy B, was the lead designer on Gears of War, and known for his work on Gears of War 1, 2 and 3, and one of the main reasons behind the IP's huge success. Cliffy B worked at Epic Games since 1992, but after 20 years with the company, Cliff announced his departure from Epic Games on October 3rd, 2012, never to be seen working on the Gears of War IP ever since. Gears Books and Comics. So the Gears of War book series consists of a 5-volume series written by Karen Travis and published by Del Rey in collaboration with Epic Games.
Okay, a couple of quick things here before we get to, because we're going to be switching over here pretty soon, guys, over to the Xbox stream. Number one, though, is the Cliffy B. I attribute a lot of the success of Gears of War to Cliffy B. Absolutely love that guy, what he did for our beloved franchise that we love so much. I will never forget 1, 2, and 3. Unbelievable. Now, Gears Judgment, guys, I feel like was the dark ages of Gears of War. Now, there were certainly some transitions happening over at Epic Games, but I will say this. After that original trilogy, I'm glad that Cliffy B was no longer a part of the Gears of War franchise. And a lot of people want Cliffy B to come back to Gears. I'm going to say this, though. I don't think Cliffy B, I don't think that Gears of War would be where it is today, even though some people think we're in a pretty bad spot as a franchise. I just feel that Cliffy B, he started to grow like a significant ego and such in regard to, just the success of Gears of War. And sometimes that happens with people when you attribute or get a lot of success within a franchise, you start thinking you're almost invincible. And then we know some of the projects that happened right after Gears of War for Cliffy B. Obviously, he did Lawbreakers. He did a couple other games as well, and none of them really worked. They all failed. He started Boss Key Productions, and obviously that company is no longer even existing at this point. But I'll always attribute those early games. I think that where the franchise is gone at this point, I like where we're headed, even though there's going to be bumps along the road with everything transitioning from Epic Games to the Coalition. That being said, Rod Ferguson was awesome. He's no longer, of course, with us over at the Coalition. But number two is going to be the comics. The older comics are so much better than the newer comics, in my personal opinion, just from illustration perspectives to all those things, right? There was something really to be said and something special about the older Gears of War comic books and novels than the new ones, and that's just my opinion. But I think that we need to get that improved upon moving forward.
Written by Jason Huff in collaboration with the Coalition, and then Gears of War: A Fear Arising, being the 8th novel in the Gears of War series, which takes place between Gears 3 and 4. From the Epic Games era of novels, we had Gears of War: Asphalt Fields, Gears of War: Jacinto's Remnant, Gears of War: Anvil Gate, Gears of War: Coalition's End, and Gears of War: The Slab. And then in the Coalition's era of novels, we had Gears of War: Ascendance, Gears of War: Bloodlines, and Gears of War: A Fear Arising. And for the Gears of War comic series, the Gears comic series consisted of a 24-issue publication from Wildstorm and DC Comics with collaboration from Epic Games, as well as 2 series made and published by IDW Publishing in collaboration with the Coalition. The aim of the comics is to fill in the gaps between the games and the books, and to expand the universe of Gears of War. So in terms of comics, we have had Gears of War Hollow, Gears of War Baron, Gears of War Dirty Little Secrets, Gears of War The Rise of Ram, Gears of War Hivebusters, as well as standalone issues and graphic novels.
This is where we're gonna end this video, but massive shout out to King Abe's. If you guys have not seen the entire video of his Gears of War Iceberg breakdown, definitely go check that out, guys. It is absolutely incredible.